Hello, everyone. Thank you for being part of the Chelsea chapter. And please subscribe and ring that notification bell so you do not miss it on whatever I've got to bring to, as long as it's Chelsea related. And as long as it is sports right over here at the Chelsea chapter with me, your very host, Abu KALS. I'm definitely dedicated to bring to the latest trade as it comes in. We'll remember that we are in the transfer season and we're going to be talking about a few things in this transfer season. We're definitely going to be talking about a few transfers, who's going where, who's remaining at the club, and not forgetting who is the club going to be signing and who has already signed for the club. A lot is available to talk about. We're going to be talking on quite a lot of stuff, but we've got Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang's news that is making rounds. We've also, despite the fact that Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang is one that we are going to be talking about, we're going to be talking about Romelu Lukaku. And also, do not forget that apart from Romelu Lukaku, also, we are going to be talking about a few more. With the fact that Moises Caicedo is also in there in what we are going to be talking about today. Which part of the world are watching from? Which part of the country watching from? Just make your point, subscribe, and ring that notification bell so you do not miss it. Whatever I've got to bring to as long as this sports and as long as it is the club Chelsea related right about now at the Chelsea chapter. With me, your very host, Abu KALS. We definitely are here to talk sports and right about now. Let's get the party started. Let's get the party rolling. Let's talk about Moises Caicedo first before we go any further. Should we first talk about Moises Caicedo? Or should we talk about Romelu Lukaku? Who should be the first on the list? Let's talk about Moises Caicedo anyway. We'll remember that Moises Caicedo is a professional football player, plays for the Ecuadorian. He plays for the Ecuadorian national team and also has been playing for despite the fact that he's playing for the Ecuador national team, he's been playing for Brighton and Hove. And while at Brighton and Hove, he's been playing quite well, and that's why he's being valued at an amazing amount of money. Quite big money. It's a transfer that involves quite a lot of money. We are talking about £100 million for this transfer. That's quite a lot. That's a big money, I must say. That's a massive money. 100 million, and that's what Brighton and Hove came out and said that they definitely want for the football player Moises Caicedo. I personally think that's quite a bit high, and the club Chelsea is really trying to make sure that they can get into negotiations with Moises Caicedo and also with the club Brighton and Hove to make sure that Chelsea really gets the deal done. It is reportedly said that it is extremely close. The Moises Caicedo deal is extremely close. It is a deal that Chelsea is going to do. It is an imminent deal, and anytime from now, we could definitely be seeing Moises Caicedo putting pen to paper for the club Chelsea. Mauricio Pochettino is a big admirer for the football player, and it will be remembered still that despite the fact that Mauricio Pochettino likes the football player, him as a football player also would like to make a move to the club Chelsea. Anyway, so Moises Caicedo, let's really hope he makes that big move to the club Chelsea, as Chelsea is interested in signing Moises Caicedo, and personal terms have already been agreed, and a fee has not yet come to conclusion, but personal terms already agreed. And it is reportedly said that a medical is going to be scheduled anytime from now. So we could definitely be seeing a medical scheduled anytime from now. And once a medical is scheduled, it will prove to us that he's definitely one to be at the club. Having said that, it is not only the club Chelsea that is in the race for the football player. Despite the fact that Chelsea is interested in the football player, there are also other clubs that have come out vividly and say they are going into this transfer. And they are mainly two other clubs that are in this transfer. There should be three more, but Manchester United has sort of pulled out of this transfer. And the other remaining now, we should say Liverpool is interested, though it's not quite a big deal. And Arsenal is trying to say they need the football player, but they've already spent more than £200 million and they haven't sold anyone. And as to me, as far as I know, Arsenal cannot afford to buy the football player. The club Chelsea is in a better advantage, a bigger position, because Chelsea has sold a big number of football players, and they've got quite a big amount of money on their exposure. And that's what makes Chelsea a bigger option for Moises Caicedo. And Chelsea is really going on with the negotiations, and the negotiations are really doing quite well, going on quite well for the football player and also for the club. So again, let's also which other club? Liverpool really. Liverpool is also interested in Moises Caicedo, but I still shaky. The club Chelsea looks to be the sole club that is 100% into the Moises Caicedo transfer. And when I say 100% into, it means willing to put in bids, talking to the football player, and also the football player's interest also being put in consideration. He also wants a move. Let's talk a little bit about Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang and his potential exit of the club. Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang could definitely be leaving the club anytime from soon. And what does this mean for the club? Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, who is a very good football player, wonderful football player, and has been playing for the club Chelsea, moved to Chelsea for quite big money before. But right about now, he's looking at a move away out of the club Chelsea, as Mauricio Pochettino does not seem to have him in his plans. Mauricio Pochettino is not seeing the next season playing with him. Mauricio Pochettino is a new manager, and he wants new football players in, and is trying to get new football players. We already know Gabriel Angelo is already a Chelsea football player, and is a sort of football player that Mauricio Pochettino really would like to play with. And also, Wesley Fofana is also at the club. There are quite a number of football players. Nicholas Jackson also already at the club. So Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang really is not a football player that's going to be fitting in quite well when it comes to Mauricio Pochettino's mode of play, and that's why we are definitely going to be seeing him moving out of the club. It is reportedly said that Olympique de Marseille has already had big talks with the football player, and Olympique de Marseille is very comfortable that it is going to have Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang at less than £6 million, and that's quite little for Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. But for some reason, Olympique de Marseille is very confident about that, and Olympique de Marseille really has gone on and said that they want Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, and they are willing to put in something less than £6 million. And by the look of things, the club Chelsea is very okay with that, because they want to get rid of him. Chelsea want to say goodbye to Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, and hopefully it will be good. Hopefully it will be good news for the club Arsenal, as we are definitely looking at different ways on how Arsenal can really can sign football players. But Arsenal is trying to get some football players from the club Chelsea. But why I'm saying Arsenal is because Arsenal really has been linked to buying Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, but getting Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. But the Arsenal transfer really for Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang really is not that solid. Really, seeing him go to the club Arsenal, I still doubt quite a lot about Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang moving to the club Arsenal, because Olympique de Marseille really is way from Arsenal. What we've had Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, it's sort of a rumor, because there is no bid that has been put in place. It might just be something that they are talking about. Possibly they want the football player. Is the football player into going back to the club Arsenal, where he was playing before? I personally do not see this happening, really. I can see Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang really. I can see Uber really going to Olympique de Marseille, because Olympique de Marseille really is heading in this transfer. It is topping. It's the number one on this transfer. Let's hope Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang really will make a move away from the club, and he can go to a club that he really desires. And he does not want a complicated transfer. He wants a simple transfer, and we got that information also from a trusted source, and that was Fabrizio Romano, who is a transfer specialist, who is celebrated journalist. Anyway, let's again talk about yet another football player. We've got quite a big number of football players, a big number of football players ready to talk about. And now we've talked about Moises Caicedo. There's also Romeo Lavia. Romeo Lavia has been linked to the club Chelsea, Romeo Lavia has been linked to the club Chelsea. And really, let's hope everything goes on quite well for Romeo Lavia. By the look of things, really, Romeo Lavia has also been linked to a big number of clubs. There's quite a big number of clubs that has been linked to Romeo Lavia, was a Southampton football player, and hopefully Romeo Lavia can really make a big move to the club Chelsea. But Liverpool are also very interested in the football player. So I've also got news. I've got news about Romelu Lukaku. I've got news about Lukaku, and so let's talk about Lukaku. So there is quite big news coming in about Lukaku, and there is a big direction, big letter to Romelu Lukaku instructing him to return to the club. So Lukaku has been doing his training in Italy, thinking that possibly he's going to remain at Inter Milan. And after Inter Milan really noticing that Lukaku's agents were talking to Juventus, Inter Milan pulled out of the transfer. And right about now, after Chelsea really understanding that there is something that's not going on quite well in there, and Chelsea really, despite the fact that he wants a move, he is still a Chelsea football player, and Chelsea has a big say on this. And it is reportedly said that the current manager of Chelsea, Mauricio Pochettino, has written a vivid letter, big letter to the football player Romelu Lukaku to instruct him, not to beg him, not to request him, but to instruct him to get back to the club with immediate effect, because he is not an Inter Milan football player, and neither is he a Juventus football player. He is a Chelsea football player, and Chelsea has a big say on his future. And it is reportedly said that there could be a possibility of the football player remaining at the club Chelsea, as he's been instructed to get back to the club Chelsea with immediate effect. Let's hope everything will really roll on quite well and move on quite well for the club Chelsea, and things will definitely move on very well for Chelsea when it comes to these transfers, as Romelu Lukaku has been instructed to get back to the club Chelsea. Could we definitely be seeing him playing for the club Chelsea one more time? Let's wait and see. However, I will remember that he's not been on form when he's been playing for the Premier League, but he's been on big form when he's been playing for Inter Milan. So we could possibly see him making a move to Inter Milan, to Juventus. But still, I would remember that Romelu Lukaku really rejected offers. He rejected offers from clubs. Lukaku rejected offers from from Saudi Arabian clubs. Chelsea wanted to sell him to Saudi Arabia because Chelsea could really make a bit of money, big money, and he himself would be on big money per week. But he seems quite satisfied with the amount of money that he is getting, and from the fact that he also went to the point where he told Inter Milan that he would like to remain at Inter Milan, even if he has a pay cut from Inter Milan, he would be very okay remaining at Inter Milan. Definitely, that shows you really that it could be a bit tricky for the club Chelsea. But also the fact that he's agreed to a pay cut, really, that shows you that he's not into a move to the Saudi Pro League that is very interested in him. So let's hope everything goes on quite well, because he wants to only play in Europe. But the fact that he wants to play in Europe, that does not take away the big fact also that if he wants to play for Europe, he can play for Europe, but it doesn't take away the fact that the Chelsea management has a big say in the decision he makes. So let's hope everything will move on quite well for the football player right about now. Please subscribe and ring that notification bell so you do not miss out on whatever I've got to bring to as long as this Chelsea related right about here at the Chelsea chapter with me, your very host, Abu KALS, as straight as it comes in, as we've been talking about Romelu Lukaku, but also do not forget that we've been talking about a few more football players who include Moises Caicedo. And despite the fact that we are talking about, we've been talking about Moises Caicedo, we've also been talking about Romelu Lukaku, Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, and Moises Caicedo. And about a little bit about Romeo Lavia, who is also a very good football player, and we can definitely see Romeo Lavia doing quite great at the club Chelsea in case he moves to Chelsea. Big competition for the football players. Please subscribe and ring that notification bell for the latest information. Thank you and goodbye for now.